Today, we are going to completely reframe how you think about muscle. Seriously. For anyone over 40, or really for anyone who wants to live a long, strong, independent life, this is one of the most important ideas you will ever encounter. We're not talking about vanity. This isn't about six-pack abs or looking good at the beach. No, this is about something so much more fundamental: survivability. It's all about function, resilience, and building a body that can handle whatever life throws at it. The source material we're digging into today makes this incredibly powerful, urgent case that after a certain age, protecting and building your muscle becomes your #1 job. Before we jump in, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and check out the links in the description if you're looking for a real estate agent in your market or you need life insurance. My team and I can help you anywhere nationwide. Okay, let's get into it.
Let's start right here with this core idea, this metaphor, because it perfectly captures the mental shift we all need to make. Body armor. Think about it. What's its purpose? It is not for show. It's there to protect your vital organs when things go sideways. It absorbs impact. It can turn a catastrophic event into something you walk away from. And that is exactly the role your skeletal muscle plays as you get older. It's not just for moving things around. It is an active, living, breathing, protective system. It's your first and best line of defense against the physical shocks of the world. You know, whether that's a simple trip on a crack in the sidewalk, a nasty fall on an icy day, or even the internal battle against a serious illness. The more of this armor you carry, the safer you are. This one idea is the bedrock for everything else we're about to cover.
So why the laser focus on age 45 and up? Well, because this is the decade where, for most people who aren't actively fighting against it, a silent process kicks into high gear. It's called sarcopenia. It's just a fancy word for age-related muscle loss, and it happens quietly. You don't feel it day to day, but year after year, bit by bit, you're losing the very tissue that keeps you strong and resilient. The experts in our source are all in agreement on this. You have to start treating the care and feeding of your muscle like it's your #1 job. What does that mean? It means it gets prioritized. It gets put on the calendar. It needs to be seen as more important than, say, that extra hour at the office. Because honestly, without your health, without your ability to move through the world on your own terms, all the other stuff can become pretty meaningless. So let's start by breaking down exactly why this is so non-negotiable. All right, let's get into the why. Because to really, truly commit to this, you have to understand the stakes. And believe me, the stakes are incredibly high. Our culture, it's just obsessed with weight, right? The number on the scale. But that focus is so dangerously misplaced, especially as we get older. We are chasing the wrong thing entirely. Now, what I'm about to share isn't meant to scare you. It's about being brutally honest about the biological reality so we can actually do something about it. We're going to look at the very real and often tragic chain of events that happens when you just don't have enough of that muscular body armor when life throws you a curveball. This number, it's just staggering. It comes from a geriatrician in our source material. An older woman who falls and breaks her hip has a 50% chance of never walking independently again. Just let that sink in. A coin flip. A coin flip on whether you lose your freedom, your autonomy from one single event. And that event is made so much more likely by a lack of muscle. Why? Because muscle does 3 critical things here. First, it gives you the stability and balance to keep you from falling in the first place. Second, if you do start to fall, it acts like a cushion, literally absorbing the impact and shielding the bone. And third, strong muscles are connected to strong bones. The active resistance training is the signal that tells your body to keep your bones dense. Without that armor, a simple fall becomes a life-altering and sometimes a life-ending event. This timeline here maps out what experts call the frailty cascade. And it's a sad but incredibly common story that starts with something that seems so small. It starts in the middle of the night, a simple trip on the way to the bathroom. But without the muscle to catch yourself, without the balance to recover, it's a hard fall. The bones, which have grown brittle from a lack of use, can't take the hit. That's the hip fracture. So now you're in the hospital, you can't move. Lying in bed, your lungs can't fully expand, you can't cough properly, and fluid starts to build up. Well, that's the perfect environment for pneumonia. And now your heart, which hasn't been challenged in years, has to fight a major infection, and it just can't keep up. And then, one by one, the other organs start to shut down. One expert puts it so bluntly: people don't die of old age. They die when the first organ taps out. And this entire tragic cascade starts with that very first domino, a lack of muscle. So, the whole point here is that we have to completely shift our goals and how we measure what success looks like. The old way, the way we've all been taught, is all about aesthetics. I want to lose 10 pounds. The scale is the judge and jury. But it's a deeply flawed way of looking at things. One expert shared a perfect story. A client wanted to lose 10 pounds. After months of training, she got on the scale,
and the number was exactly the same, but she had dropped 2 full dress sizes. She'd lost fat and gained 5 pounds of dense, useful muscle. The scale didn't budge, but her body was completely different. So the new goal isn't weight loss, it's survivability. It's about building a body that works, and the primary metric isn't the scale, it's strength. Can you get up off the floor without using your hands? Can you haul all your groceries in from the car in one trip? Can you catch yourself when you stumble? That's what really matters. Okay, so we've covered the risks of not having enough muscle. Now let's flip the coin. Let's talk about the incredible, almost hidden benefits of having it. Most of us just think of muscle as, well, the stuff that moves our arms and legs. End of story. But modern science has uncovered something far, far more profound. Our source material calls muscle the organ of longevity. Think about that. It's an active endocrine organ, it's a powerful metabolic engine, and it's a critical protein reservoir. It is constantly talking to and supporting every other system in your body. It's time to learn about the secret life of muscle.
First up, your muscle is your body's #1 metabolic sink. The best way to think of it is like a giant fuel tank or a sponge. When you eat carbs, they break down into blood sugar, glucose, and your body has to put that sugar somewhere. By far, the biggest and best place to put it is inside your muscles. It gets stored as something called glycogen. So when you have plenty of healthy muscle, it just eagerly soaks up all that sugar from your blood to use for energy later. But if you don't have enough muscle, or if the muscle you do have has become numb to insulin from inactivity, that sugar has nowhere to go. It just stays floating around in your blood, causing damage, forcing your pancreas to work overtime, and leading directly to that whole cascade of metabolic diseases: type 2 diabetes, heart disease, obesity, you name it. A muscle crisis is at the very core of our metabolic crisis. Now this is one of the most exciting discoveries in modern medicine. Your muscle is an active endocrine organ. What that means is that when you contract your muscles during exercise, they're not just doing work. They are acting like a pharmacy. They create and release hundreds of these powerful chemicals called myokines. These little myokines get into your bloodstream and act like messengers. They travel all over your body, talking to your immune system, turning up the activity of your body's cancer-fighting cells. They lower chronic inflammation, which is the root cause of almost every major disease of aging. They talk to your fat cells, your liver, your brain. Every single time you lift a weight, you are literally giving your body a powerful dose of anti-inflammatory, immune-boosting, anti-aging medicine that you made yourself. It's an incredible idea. Movement is medicine because your muscle is a medicine cabinet. And hey, if you're finding this valuable, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and check out the links in the description if you're looking for a real estate agent in your market or you need life insurance. My team and I can help you anywhere nationwide. And finally, muscle serves as your body's critical amino acid reservoir. The absolute best way to think about this is like a protein savings account. Every single part of your body, your organs, your immune cells, everything, needs a constant supply of amino acids to repair itself. Now imagine you get really sick. You're fighting cancer or recovering from a major surgery. Your body goes into this high-stress state where it's breaking things down to survive. During that time, its demand for amino acids goes through the roof to fuel the fight and repair the damage. So where does it get them? It makes withdrawal from your savings account, your skeletal muscle. If you've got a big reserve in that account, your body has the resources it needs to heal and win the fight. But if that account is empty, it can't meet the demand. This is why muscle mass is one of the single greatest predictors of whether someone survives a disease like cancer. A bigger muscle reservoir gives you the capital to weather the storm. Okay, so we've established why muscle is your body armor, and we've explored its secret life as the organ of longevity. So the big question is, what do we do about it? How do we actually build and keep this crucial tissue for the long haul? The good news is, it is not nearly as complicated as the fitness industry wants you to believe. You don't need 1,000 different supplements or some crazy workout plan. The experts in our source material boil it all down to a simple, powerful, and totally doable blueprint. Let's break down the 3 fundamental steps. And here it is, the foundational blueprint. 3 core, non-negotiable principles. First, protein first. It is the literal raw material. You cannot build a brick house without bricks, and you simply cannot build muscle without enough protein. Second, lift heavy things. You have to give your muscles a reason to grow stronger, a stimulus, and this means focusing on big, compound movements that use your whole body. And third, a huge psychological step, forget the scale. Like we talked about, the goal is body recomposition, gaining strength and function, not just chasing a lower number. This simple 3-part strategy is the whole game. This quote from one of the experts just nails the paradigm shift. The old way of getting in shape is to try and lose fat first, right? Usually with extreme diets and tons of cardio. But what happens is you lose precious muscle right along with the fat, which crashes your metabolism and makes it almost guaranteed you'll gain all the weight back, and then some.
The better way, the smarter strategy, is to focus only on building muscle. Why? Because as you add muscle, you are upgrading your body's engine. Muscle is metabolically active. It burns calories 24/7, even while you sleep. By adding just 5 or 10 pounds of muscle, you jack up your base metabolic rate. As one expert perfectly described it, muscle is like metabolic Spanx. It holds everything in tighter and revs up your metabolism from the inside out. The fat loss just becomes a very welcome side effect of getting stronger.
Now, let's get specific on protein, because this is where a lot of people get confused. The standard official recommendation, the RDA, is 0.8 grams per kilogram of body weight. But you have to understand where that number comes from. It's based on old studies designed to find the bare minimum a sedentary person needs to not get a deficiency disease. The goal was simply to prevent sickness, not to create optimal health. It was about surviving, not thriving. The modern science is crystal clear that for building strength and aging well, a target of around 0.8 grams per pound of your ideal body weight is way, way better. So for a 150-pound person, the RDA is about 54 grams. The optimal target, it's closer to 120 grams. That is more than double. This is a non-negotiable part of the plan. Okay, for our final section, let's explore a really powerful idea that goes way beyond just your time in the gym. The experts in our source explain that every single movement we make, and just as importantly, every movement we don't make, sends a powerful signal to our body and our brain. These signals are a conversation. They are literally telling our biology whether to stay young and capable or to start the process of managed decline. See, your body is incredibly efficient. It will not waste energy maintaining systems it doesn't think are being used. So to stay strong, we have to consciously send it signals of youthfulness.
Now, these aren't just random party tricks. Each one of these actions is a potent biological signal. As we get older, we tend to stop doing these things, often without even realizing it. We get out of a car slowly and carefully. We avoid sitting on the floor because getting back up feels like a project. We sure as heck don't jump or sprint. And when we stop sending those signals, the body gets the message loud and clear. Okay, I guess the explosive, fast-twitch power isn't needed anymore. We can let that go. Being able to do these things isn't just about the act itself. It's proof that you have kept the underlying systems of power, balance, and coordination that define a youthful, capable body. It tells your brain you are still in the game, and it needs to keep all systems online.
And the deep science behind this is just mind-blowing. This is not a metaphor, it's biochemistry. When you do high-impact or load-bearing exercise, like jumping, lifting something heavy, even sprinting, your bones are put under stress. In response to that stress, they literally release hormones into your blood. One of them is called osteocalcin. And these hormones travel up to your brain and have been shown to improve the survival and function of your neurons, boosting memory and cognitive function. Just think about that for a second. Your skeleton is in direct communication with your brain. It's a feedback loop. Your brain needs to know if the body is still being used out in the world, and this is how it finds out. Strength training isn't just for your muscles, it's a direct hormonal signal for a healthy brain.
And that really brings us to the final and most important takeaway. Every single day, with every choice you make, you are sending signals to your body. Choosing the stairs over the elevator is a signal. Getting up from your desk without pushing off with your hands is a signal. Picking up your grandchild and lifting them over your head is a signal. These aren't just small, meaningless actions. They are messages. They are instructions that you are sending to your own biology about how you want it to behave in the future. Are you sending messages of capability, of strength, of vitality? Or are you, by default, sending messages of fragility and decline? The choice is yours every single moment of every single day. Thank you for joining me for this explainer. And one last time, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And check out the links in the description if you're looking for a real estate agent in your market or you need life insurance. My team and I can help you anywhere nationwide. The question isn't whether you're sending signals. You always are. The real question is, what signals are you sending your body today?